Hello friends, I am Ashrita from Warriors Choice Academy. Before you to explain the paper 3 General English of AP High Court and District Court notification book written by Warriors Choice Academy. So let's start. First is as always comprehension. Goldman Sachs predicted that crude oil would hit $200, and just as it appeared that alternative renewable energy had a chance of becoming an economically viable option, the international price of oil fell by over 70%. After hitting the all-time high of $147 a barrel a month ago, crude oil fell to loss less than $40 a barrel. What explains the sharp decline in the international price of oil? There had not been any major new discovery of a hitherto unknown source of oil or gas. The short answer is that the demand does not have to fall by a very sizable quantity for the price of crude to respond as it did. In the short run, the price elasticity of demand for crude oil is very low. Conversely, in the short run, even a relatively big chance in the price of oil doesn't immediately lower consumption. It takes months or years of high oil price to inculcate habits of energy conservation. World crude oil price had remained over $60 a barrel for month of 2005 to 2007 without making any major dent in demand. The long answer is more complex. The economic slowdown in the US, Europe, and Asia, along with dollar depreciation and commodity speculation, have all had some role in the downward descent in the international price of oil in recent years. The supply of oil has been rising, but not enough to catch up with the rising demand, resulting in an almost vertical escalation in its price. The number of crude oil futures and options contracts have been increased manifold, which has led to significant speculation in oil market. In comparison, the role of Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries (OPEC) in fixing crude prices has considerably weakened. OPEC is often accused of operating as cartel restricting outputters, keeping price artificially high. It did succeed in setting the price of crude during the 1970s and the first half of 80s. But with the increased futures trading and contracts, the control of crude pricing has moved from OPC to banks and markets that deal with future trading and contracts. It is true that most of oil exporting regions of the world has remained politically unstable, fueling speculation over the price of crude. But there is little evidence that geopolitical uncertainties in West Asia have improved to weaken the price of oil. Threatened by downward slides of oil price, OPEC has in fact announced its decision to curtail output. However, most oil imports will have a sight of relief as they find their oil import bills decline except for those who brought options to import oil at price higher than market price. Exporting nations, on the other hand, will see their economic prosperity slip. Relatively low price of crude is also bad news for investments in alternative renewable energy that cannot compete with cheaper and non-renewable source of energy. Pedagogy కదండి పర్లేదు. Why are oil importing countries relieved? Price of crude reached $147 or $200 was not predicted. Demand for crude has fallen sharply. There is no need for them to invest huge amounts of money in alternative source of energy. None of these. Price of crude reached $147 not was predicted. Which of the following factors is responsible for rising speculation in crude oil markets? OPEC has not been able to restrict the oil output and control prices. The supply of oil has been rising to match demand. Existing a larger oil in oil contracts. 1 and 2 are correct. మనకు ఆప్షన్ ఎందులో ఉంది బిలో. What is the phrase? The price elasticity of demand for crude oil is very low implied. And the price rises, the demand for oil falls immediately. A small change in demand will result in a sharp change in the price of crude. Within a short span of time, the price of crude oil has fluctuated sharply. None of these. Answer is A. Which of the following is true in the context of the passage? The decline in oil price has benefited all countries. Renewable energy sources are costlier than non-renewable. Lack of availability of alternative renewable energy resulted in rise in demand for crude. Third correct. So 2 and 3 option equal మనకి C. 45. What has been the impact of the drop in oil prices? Exploration for natural gas resources has risen. The dollar has fallen sharply. OPEC has decided to restrict the production of oil. Economic depression in oil importing countries of lead in the water supply. No error. C. OPEC ఇదంతా ఒక సెంటెన్స్ అండి. OPEC has decided to restrict its production of oil. Economic depreciation in oil countries of lead. ఇది డి, ఇది టి. 46. Select the most appropriate synonym of the underlying. She rarely plays violin now. Synonym. Rarely అంటే అప్పుడప్పుడు. సో ఇక్కడ మనకి అప్పుడప్పుడు కేర్ఫుల్లీ కాదు, ఆఫ్టెన్ అంటే ఎక్కువ. హ్యాబిచువల్, హ్యాబిట్ అంటే మనం ఎప్పుడు చేస్తాం, సెల్డమ్. Select the most appropriate synonym of the given word. Abrogate. Absolute, eradicate, hateful, continue. అబ్రాగ్డికేట్ అంటే దాన్ని తొలగించడం, తీసేయడం. సో దానికి సిమిలర్ గా మనకి ఎరాడికేట్. సెలెక్ట్ ది మోస్ట్ అప్రోప్రియేట్ సినోనిమ్ ఆఫ్ ఎలిమెంటరీ. ఎలిమెంటరీ అంటే ప్రిలిమినరీ అని చెప్పేది. సో మనకి అక్కడ సిమిలర్ గా ఏముంది, బేసిక్. సెలెక్ట్ ది మోస్ట్ అప్రోప్రియేట్ యాంటోనిమ్ టు సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ ది అండర్లైన్ ఉంది. ఓకే, ది ఎవేజన్ నేచర్ ఆఫ్ ది పొలిటీషియన్ ఈజ్ వాట్ is making her a poor choice for the post. Evasive. Evasive కి మనకి యాంటోనిమ్ కావాలి. Freaky, greasy, elusive, truthful. Evasive nature. So the opposite synonym, truthful. Select the most appropriate antonym of the given word. Capture. And capture అంటే పట్టుబడటం. సో మనకి ఇక్కడ లిబరేట్. అబాలిష్ అంటే తొలగించడం, ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ అంటే పెట్టడం, సీజ్ అంటే క్యాప్చర్ చేయడం అని అర్థం. సో మనకి యాంటోనిమ్స్ మనకి కావాల్సింది లిబరేట్, వదిలేయడం అని చెప్పి. సో ది మోస్ట్ అప్రోప్రియేట్ యాంటోనిమ్ ఆఫ్ ది గివెన్ హెసిటేట్. సో హెసిటేట్ అంటే తలబడదాం అలాంటిది అనమాట. మనం ఇంకా డెసిషన్ తీసుకోలే వద్దా అని ఆలోచించుకోం. సో దానికి మనకి ఏంటి, రిజాల్వ్. రిజాల్వ్ అంటే మనం కాన్ఫిడెంట్ గా ఉన్నాం అదే అని చెప్పి. సో the police looked into the matter. The police investigated the okay. దీనికి no word required. The police managed investigated the matter. అయిపోయి. Ravi is found dash of chocolates. Fond. Ravi is fond of chocolates. Select the most appropriate meaning of the given idiom. Idiom ఇది. Sharp practice. Sharp practice అనేది ఏంటంటే honestly అని చెప్పి మనం చెప్పడానికి చెప్తాం. The following sentence has been divided into 4 parts. One of them contains an error. Select the part that contains the error from the given options. Few swimmers were tried it and failed in the test. A few swimmers were tried it and failed in the test. So ఇక్కడ ఇది a few swimmers had tried but failed in the test అని చెప్పి రాయాలి. One has been divided into 4 segments. One of them contains an error. Select the part that contains the error from the given options. I have been to America several times. What many different mystical. Different mystic. Different mystical. So, my answer B. Fill in the blank with the most appropriate option. The company launched its new smartphone Dash the online stores. The answer. Online stores ద్వారా company new phones అని చెప్పింది. సో ద్వారా అని మనం చెప్పేది through. If you use a shelter for your dog, You said dash. If you use a shelter for your dog, you say kennel. Dogs ని పెట్టే ప్లేస్ ను వాళ్ళ బేసికలీ వాళ్ళ షెల్టర్ ని మనం కెన్నెల్ అని చెప్పి అని. Parts of the following sentence has been given as option. One of them may contain an error. Select the part that contains the error from the given option. If you don't fill in a mark, no as it. An old man sit down and read his book on his lush green lawn. Old man sit down and read his book on his lush green lawn. ఇక్కడ sit an old man sat down and read his book on his lush green lawn. So answer is E. Parts of the given sentence has been given as options. One of them contains a spelling error. Select the option that rectifies the error. Participating in internships is a great way to get a taste of changes taking place in the industry. Answer is internship with the E missile. Answer is B. Parts of the given sentence, okay. Superbugs are the bacteria that have acquired resistance to several types of antibiotics, either through genetical mutation or through build-up resistance over time. Superbugs are the bacteria that have acquired resistance to several types of antibiotics, either through genetic mutation or through build-up resistance over time. Actually, answer D, acquired. The following sentence has been split into 4 segments. Identify the segment that contains a grammatical error. The policeman walked along the road when I saw a body in the gutter. A, walk along the. There is a good cooperation dash the countries of Asia. There is a good cooperation among the countries of Asia. మనము ఏదైనా నేమ్స్ తీసుకొచ్చాంటున్నాం అనుకో అప్పుడు బిట్వీన్ వస్తుంది. బిట్వీన్ ఇండియా అండ్ ఆఫ్రికా, బిట్వీన్ ఇండియా అండ్ యుఎస్ఏ అలాగా. ఇక్కడ మనం కంట్రీస్ ఒక మల్టిపుల్ కంట్రీస్ గురించి మాట్లాడుతున్నాం కాబట్టి అమాంగ్ ది కంట్రీస్ ఆఫ్ ఏషియా వస్తుంది. ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ డాష్ అబ్రాడ్ నెక్స్ట్ వీక్. No proposition అండి ఇక్కడ. ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ అబ్రాడ్ నెక్స్ట్ వీక్. ఎస్. My father was overwhelmed dash joy at my success. With joy, happiness though. The teachers are vexed dash my friend's behavior. The teachers are vexed at my friend's behavior. Select the incorrectly spelled word embarrassment. Definitely Q, conscientious. Embarrassment. Select the incorrectly spelled word. Regression, transient, colonial, cetricious. So, precious couple. Select the incorrectly spelled word. Weird, impartial, February, gorgeous. ఇలాంటివి మనం మెయిన్ అలాంటి పెద్ద పెద్ద కనిపెట్టేస్తాయి కానీ ఇలాంటి తప్పు పడతాయి. WEIRD, weird అనేది WIERD. Select the most appropriate option to fill in the blank. She neglects attending temple, though dash temple is only dash years from her house. She neglects attending the temple, though the temple is only a few yards from her house. Answer is A. Select the most appropriate option to fill in the blank. Sun sets in. ఈ ఆన్సర్ క్వశ్చన్ తప్పు ఉందండి, నేను మళ్ళీ చెప్తాను. Select the most appropriate option to fill in the blank. Oh God, keep me away dash sin. దేవుడా నన్ను పాపం నుంచి దూరంగా పెట్టు అని చెప్పి అంటాం. సో కీప్ మీ అవే ఫ్రమ్ సిన్. Select the noun in the following sentence. It should be noted that old habits don't die easily. Habits అనేది noun. Fill in the blank with the most appropriate option. The stranger is welcomed by search all this them. The stranger is welcomed by them. In the following sentence, some parts of the sentence may okay. The following sentence, question, some part of sentence may have errors and some are correct. Find out which part of sentence has an error. If a sentence is free from error, no answer will be error. Idanతా questioning. The students of the school would be sent to the zoo on a study tour to gain first-hand experience. Would be sent to the zoo to gain, okay. The answer is B. Would be got, will be sent to the zoo. A family office has to exclude all that relate to manage the wealth of upper rich family. Okay. God to manage the wealth of upper rich family. Manage the wealth of. Many men want to be rich quickly. Many a men కదండి many men అని చెప్పి రావాలి. Many men want to sorry. Sorry. Many a man want to be rich quickly. Answer is E. Want to be రాకూడదన్నమాట. The Russian ambassador's whereabouts is known to anyone. ఇది no కదండి not. The Russian ambassador whereabouts is not known to anyone. So the answer is E వస్తుంది. మొత్తం కరెక్ట్ గా ఉంది grammatical. A study is going underway to determine the exact quantity of lead in the water supply. Going on, so B. That's all for today, guys. Thank you and bye bye.